Welcome back and welcome in, and welcome to another edition of Where Do We Go From Here, the Adrien Broner edition. And where does Adrien go from here? It's real simple. Somewhere with a microphone, a camera, a couch, and one or two guests. It's time for him to officially become a podcaster. His boxing career should come to a screeching halt at this point in time. This is the sixth fight in the past 5 years where Adrien fails to look like the guy who was a former multi-division world champion. He looks slow, sluggish. It's a common narrative. He's not letting his hands go, and the truth is, when he does let his hands go, they move like a tortoise trying to get to the finish line. He is very slow on the trigger. His reaction times are slow. He does not look like the old AB who, once upon a time, was an undefeated world champion. I had read a comment somewhere, and I have to steal the comment, but the comment perfectly encapsulates what I was feeling when I was watching the fight. AB looked like he was getting fatter as the fight progressed. So in the first round or two, he looked far more slim than he did in the ninth and 10th round. I don't know if because he was breathing so heavy, but he just looked so physically out of shape. He did turn up the gas a little bit in the 10th round and kind of, I guess, gave her a resemblance of someone trying to win a fight. But prior to that, he had nothing to offer. Blair Cobb, sorry, clobbered him, knocked him down in the second round, and that was pretty much it. I know a lot of people saying it's a good performance for Blair, and it definitely was. He previously had lost to Alexis Rocha and then bounced back against Maurice Hooker. And he's been a guy kind of thought of not at the world level, more of a regional, national level. And even with this win, I don't quite look at him as a potential world champion, but I do look at him as a guy who can go in there and make anyone look good or look good for himself on an off night for a high quality fighter. But Adrien Broner is no longer a high quality fighter. He needs to retire. One of the things he has working for him is he can say he went out with all his faculties. He's never been knocked out. He's been knocked down about 2 or 3 times now. No, more than that. I think he's been knocked down 4 times. But he's never been knocked out, which is something a lot of fighters can't say at the end of their careers. A lot of times the end of their careers come when they're 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. AB is just about 33, 34, and he hasn't had any of that real trauma from knockouts. So AB, retire now while you still have your faculties. Get yourself a nice camera and microphone set up, and I would say mimic the Gilbert Arenas type format. Don't do a regular podcast. I think we're totally saturated with fighter podcasts, athlete podcasts. Get yourself a show, and I think you'd be money. I think you're a very entertaining character when you're in character. I think also with your maturity, you kind of develop this big brother role with you and Tank, and you're far more insightful in your interviews when you're out of character. And you're a lovable guy. Let's be honest. Jokes aside from the Maidana fight and some of the poor comments he's made in some post fights against Paulie Malignaggi and Manny Pacquiao, he's been a very entertaining fighter, and I think he can transition that to being an entertaining character on YouTube or on a sports platform or something along those lines. But save yourself. Stop fighting. You just don't have it anymore, and you haven't had it for a mighty long time. You have lost to every step up in competitions you've had, from Maidana to Pacquiao to Mikey Garcia, I believe Sean Porter too. And your wins have come against guys who, let's be honest, your best quality win in the past 5 or 6 years is probably, I'd say, Carlos Molina. Um, yeah, and that's not much of a win to talk about. Um, he had a good run. He was positioned as being kind of Mayweather's heir apparent. He walked the walk, he talked the talk, but he walked the walk until he got into the ring. And once he got into the ring, he just didn't have it. At this point in time, he just really should hang it up. No more fights, man. No more. AB, we love you, but please, no more fights.